Well, Dave, I gotta ask you, do you think Flea has any shot of being included in either Best International Film or Best Animated Feature at the 2022 Academy Awards?
I'd say it's almost surely a lock for both categories, but I don't expect it to actually win either category.
I mean, that's a pretty strong statement, and we are going to be giving our predictions. Why don't we start with Best International Film and work our way up from there, since we're already kind of
Yeah.
talking about this. Um, so you think Flea has a really good shot to be nominated in that category over Riders of the Night? So
Yeah, so Riders of Justice is the
Rise of
Danish film with
Justice.
Mads. The way this category works is that a country only submits one film, and we have that 15 film short list already
Oh,
out there. So we
okay.
already know the final 15 for Best International Feature Film. Some notable stuff not here, like Pedro Almodovar's Parallel Mothers was not nominated because Spain actually picked a different film instead, which didn't make it through. And France's Titan, which was this huge, buzzy con release neon
Yep.
film, also wasn't selected. So from what we have, it's still pretty stacked, and I've seen a good amount of these films already. Flea, we've reviewed a bunch of them. Flea, A Hero from Iran, Asghar Farhadi's film, which you just reviewed. Drive My Car from Japan, Hamaguchi's
Reviewed.
film. Flee from Denmark, as well as The Worst Person in the World,
Yep.
Joachim Trier's movie, which has been rapturously received. It's about to get released, a limited release later this week. I feel like those top four are more or less locked in. And then we also have something we've already discussed as well, which would be The Hand of God from Italy and Paolo Sorrentino on Netflix. Paolo Sorrentino has won this category before. He's not always nominated, but feels like there's a big campaign from Netflix for this. So that's probably our five. But there's other stuff in there that I'm looking forward to seeing. The German film "I'm Your Man" with Dan
Gotta say.
Stevens could very well get in here. So it's a very competitive and I think top heavy international feature film category this year. So hard to be displeased with this crop.
Yeah, those five are they seem like locks, but I would if I had to guess one that could maybe sneak in there, I would say I'm Your Man is the one that I was thinking.
Mm.
But yeah, it seems like a very strong category again. And if you aren't watching international films, I highly recommend you get into it because a lot of great movies coming out. Can't wait to see Drive My Car. We'll be talking about that, I think, a bit more as maybe we get
Yeah,
through some of these other
shit.
categories.
That's the overwhelming favorite. So
Yeah,
really
let's
excited to change.
let's move forward then to best animated feature. So, do you think Flea will also be in this category nominated?
I do. Yes, just
Wow.
given how well it's been received, and also animated. It sometimes it's not the deepest category year to year. Like you're nominating animated films that people don't necessarily love, even if some kids might love them. So yeah, I think Flea's definitely in there though, and nice to see. It's great when like a non Disney and non Pixar film gets some recognition, right? Because there are other people making animated films, and once in a while, those films do really well, like Wolfwalkers last year, for example.
I do think we're still going to get a lot of the Disney Pixar stuff because
Yeah,
Encanto and Luca are pretty much locks for this. I would say Raya and the Last Dragon has a really good shot to be nominated as
I agree.
well. And then from there, I haven't seen The Mitchells versus the Machines. Have
I
you?
have. It's really good. Yeah, Sony
Hmm.
film on Netflix. Honestly, that'd be my pick in the category. I think it's a
Wow.
Lord and Miller production. They produced it really well done, really smart, great for kids, but also good for adults. That would be my choice to win. I don't necessarily know if that's going to happen, but I feel pretty good about that. That movie has quite the groundswell. Came out a while ago, but I think it has a good chance. But like you said, Raya and Kanto and Luca, still a Disney stronghold in the category this year.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think that you just talked about Belle, which you
Mhm.
gave a really strong review to,
Yeah.
probably on the outside of this category, and also
Yeah.
Sing 2, which I've heard really good things about,
Yeah.
also on the outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Osada's last film, Mirai, did get nominated, being the first non Ghibli anime film to crack this category. So there is some precedence if Belle was a sneak in, but I think it would definitely be a surprise just given that there's a lot of Disney this year. And yeah,
Yeah.
Sing 2, definitely a big success. That's for sure.
So I just kind of want to move through a couple of these smaller categories, highlight a couple of things. Yeah, I have a sense, and I don't know if this will turn out to be true, but all the odds makers seem to point to this, that I think Dune is going to clean up at least we get a lot of nominations down ballot, and also
Yeah.
favored to win a lot of the down ballot things like best visual effects, best sound,
Yep.
stuff like that. So I that might end up being a good sign for Dune. We'll talk about that a little later on. Any other movies that you think will get a lot of nominations in those sort of categories?
Technical categories now, Dune's definitely like the Mad Max Fury Road of
Yeah,
this award cycle. Pretty easy to see that. Um, yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that's probably going to rise up. It's always cool when you see like recognition. Like it seems like maybe Cruella might get like makeup and hairstyling or something. It's always cool when like movies that aren't really in the awards picture otherwise crack through. But yeah, Dune is going to clean up. It seems like.
yeah, it seems that way. I just scrolling through Gold Derby yesterday. I noticed that Godzilla versus Kong is one of the favorites to be nominated in one of those categories. So
Right. Yeah, you have
shout
the
out
short
to that.
lists. Yeah, the short lists are out for a lot of those technical categories already, so you can see like the top
Yeah.
contenders. But the
Um,
nominations get announced on February 8th, so you'll know actually what get nominated in due time.
what about best cinematography? Do you have any feel for that category?
It's a tough one. There's a lot of like black and white films, like
Mhm.
Belfast. I feel like people were like handing this award to months ago.
Macbeth.
Yeah, Tragedy of Macbeth as well, and even stuff that's probably not in the mix too much, like Passing. There's been a lot of black and white this year. Not really sure where that was going to go. If The Power of the Dog just has a monster night and wins Best Picture, I could see that.
Yep.
I could see Dune.
Yep.
Um, but I don't know if there's really a favorite yet.
Yeah. The hard part to me in looking through these categories is our favorite movie of last year, The Green Knight. Probably on the outside looking in a lot of these categories, but man, if there was
Did it
one I
make?
would love,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So, sorry, Green Knight did not make Best Visual Effects shortlist, which is
Yeah, tough.
appalling to me. Really,
Yeah.
really disappointing.
If there's one category that I really would love to see at least nominated for, I think cinematography might be it.
Mm,
Because the movie's just so beautiful. Like
yeah.
it's amazing. I don't know how it didn't get visual effects crazy. I don't know how it isn't getting more awards love in general, but
Yeah, it
yeah,
is
I agree.
A24 too. Like you'd think they would compel. I don't know. Frustrating.
Definitely frustrating. All right, so these are now the big categories here. Best original screenplay. I mean, it seems like PTA is a lock for this, right? As well as Belfast and King Richard. Those
Hmm.
feel like the top three, and then from there, I think the last two spots are kind of up in the air. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Belfast, Licorice Pizza, Belfast, like, autobiographical from Kenneth Branagh, Licorice Pizza, Paul Thomas Anderson, original creation. You understand why those are nominated probably towards the top of this category. After that, though, I'm not really sure. I feel like it's just going to end up trending towards movies that have history with voters, with awards, namely Don't Look Up because of Adam McKay's previous success and Being the Ricardos because of Aaron Sorkin's previous success. I don't necessarily love either of those screenplays, but you can kind of just like do the math and make it make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, totally. I think Don't Look Up probably is a good shot. Sorkin, maybe. I don't know. Don't really love either one of those nominations. I feel like I'd love to see something like Pig really get
Definitely. That's the
a
people's
nod
champ
here.
for this year in this category. The way like Ex
Yeah.
Machina got a screenplay nod back in the day. Like it's really great when you see something that isn't going to win anything else get that screenplay acknowledgement because that's kind of like the ceiling for a movie like that at the
Yeah.
awards. Yeah, Pig would be awesome here.
Yeah. I think the smart money is on Don't Look Up and Ricardo's
Right.
filling out that five, but would love to see Pig sneak in there. Um, all right. So now on to best adapted screenplay. And this feels a little bit more stacked.
Definitely.
Power of the Dog, I think, is going to get nominated for everything. Let's just go to say that.
Hmm.
Pretty much every major category that you would think it would get nominated, it will get nominated in. Then from there, I think, I mean, West Side Story sticks
Hmm.
out as a one that will probably get in there.
Yeah.
Um, the Lost Daughter has won a lot of awards at film festivals for its screenplay.
Yeah.
So it feels like a strong bet too. So then what rounds out those other two spots?
Tough one. Dune, obviously, much bandied about as being a successful adaptation, which was kind of the whole question of if Dune would work or not. So I would love that kind of acknowledgement, but I won't like cry too much if it doesn't get it because Dune's going to do well otherwise. So I won't
Yeah.
make too big of a fuss. Coda could be here. It really depends how big the Coda moment ends up being. Coda is definitely rising in this for Apple's first, real big awards film contender. Obviously, they've been making big ground TV, so wouldn't be shocked about that one. But I think there's just a lot of stuff in the mix that's pretty interesting, right? Drive My Car probably would pick against it, but it's a incredible screenplay and would be an awesome acknowledgement if it got this. Tragedy of Macbeth, you know, famously an adaptation, so it's right there. Passing,
Yep.
Tick Tick Boom, another film that seems to be rising up the awards ranks. So
Yep.
this is probably one that's gonna be hard to get 100% right predicting, and I would definitely root for like something a little less remarked upon, like Passing or something sneaking in here. But this one's definitely hard to predict.
You know, I think I would love to see Dune not get included in this. I think it's a great adaptation, but I would like to see some other films get
Right.
included.
Share the
However,
wealth.
to give a little bit of a spoiler for when we get to Best Picture, if Dune's going to have a shot at winning Best Picture, it needs to be nominated in this. So, and I would love to see
Correct.
Dune win Best Picture. We'll talk more about that in a second. So we'll keep your eye on this category, especially as you're trying to think of well, what's going to make its way to the top of the Best Picture standings. All right, so moving on from there, now we're moving into the acting categories. We'll start with Best Supporting Actor.
Hmm.
To me, again, feels like there's a strong three, and then a couple that could fill out those final two spots. And those three would be Cody Smith McPhee,
Yep.
he's a lock. Troy
Tyler Dog.
Kotzer, Coda, a lock.
Yep.
Kieran Hines from Belfast feels like a lock.
Yeah.
From there, I mean, Mike Feist from West Side Story would love
I'd like to
that.
see that. Don't know about it if it happens,
Man,
but I'd root for it.
Leto, are we really gonna get the Leto nom for this? I
So
don't want
House of
that.
Gucci missed on the Producers Guild nomination, which is bad news for its Best Picture chances. Seems like Gaga still safe. Spoilers for what's to come. But Leto, yeah, Leto might be fading here. It's absolutely a love it or hate it camp performance.
Mhm.
He kind of had a similar run last year where he got some early like Globe and SAG love for the little things, and then it stopped there. So it wouldn't be shocked if he fades out here. But the thing is, it's like who replaces him, right? Seems like Bradley Cooper's fastly rising with Licorice Pizza. It's a good performance. It's a very small role, but it does seem like that's trending towards happening here. You said Mike Face. Plemons, again, if Power of the Dog has a monster day with nominations, I guess Plemons could get in here. It wouldn't be too shocking, but it's a pretty small role as well. And that leaves what? Jamie Dornan and Belfast, which I'm not like super enthusiastic about. Like of the four Belfast actors, I feel like Balf and Hines I'm more enthusiastic about. And then Ben Affleck, of course, who had a Globe nom here for The Tender Bar. I feel like that's your group. It's I don't know. Would you call this kind of a weak year for this category?
Well, I think Smith McPhee's performance is really, really strong. So is Kotzer and Hines. I think those three are
Yeah.
strong. But then those last two spots really just feel like who deserves it the most. Cooper, I would be really just like taken aback to see because he doesn't feel he feels more like a guest performance almost rather than like
Yeah.
a supporting performance for the film, which is not really how this works. Face to me feels like the most deserving to get one of those spots. I don't know if he's the best money though. I think he's like probably like seventh or eighth in terms of actual
Yeah. Seems like it.
odds. But man, I would love to see Affleck. I think get this, and I do think there's a little bit of an underlying story here that we haven't touched on, which is the Academy Awards, just in general, have had lower and lower viewership, and
Mm,
so I think if the Academy is really kind of like trying to make a push, they would be smart to make a push for Affleck and get some stars in this category, because if you end up with Smith McPhee, Kotzer, Hines, let's say Faced, and then Jesse Plemons,
yeah.
that's five that people are going to be like, what are we doing here?
Right.
You know?
That logic might be applied to the Cooper nomination as well. So
Right.
we'll see.
Yeah, so I think those three would be the strong bets, and then I don't know, pick two of your favorites. Who do you want to put your money on there?
I think Cooper's in,
Mhm.
and pick five. It's tough. I really don't have a good feel for this. If Leto's out, I think maybe Dornan or Plemons get in.
And
I'm not sure about Affleck or Faced as
I would
much as I'd
hate
want Faced.
I'd hate Dornan to get it only because I would worry about him stealing votes from Hines, and I think it's really between Hines and uh,
Yeah,
McPhee for this category. As much as I love Kotzer, I couldn't see him taking it home, but we'll talk more
right.
about the winners at a different time. Um, okay, best supporting actress. Thoughts on
Mm.
this category? Strong for you?
I think stronger than supporting actor, but also, yeah. I think stronger because I feel like the top five, the nominations seem to be kind of locking in here. Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, Kirsten Dunst for Power of the Dog, Anjanae Ellis for King Richard, Katrina Balfe for Belfast. That four seemed like really rock solid at this point. And then fifth spot, Ruth Negga has been rising quickly at other awards bodies for passing. Definitely the best performance in passing. So I feel like Ruth Negga kind of stole the spot that people were originally giving Judi Dench from Belfast. And I just can't see the Rita Moreno nomination happening.
Me
I
neither.
can't see Jesse Buckley and Lost Daughter happening. So I really don't know who is taking this spot from Ruth Negga.
The the odds would say that Marley Matlin from Coda would have
Mm,
a shot. I
yeah,
can't see that, but if Coda really has a strong day when the nominations come out, I guess that would make sense. But I think those five you mentioned, DeBose, Dunst, Ellis, Balfe, and Nega are the five. Lock that in for me.
mhm.
Um, any other thoughts on this category?
No, that one seems pretty straightforward. I think that's definitely a stronger crop than supporting actor in terms of just like performances I like and
Yeah.
and enthusiastic about. So that's a good one.
Best actor also feels like it's down to like six. There's like one spot that's kind of wavering. This
Right.
category again, I feel like is pretty top heavy. Like you got
Yeah.
Will Smith, Cumberbatch, and Garfield, I would say, and probably
Mm,
Washington. Those four are like the four that I feel really confident in. And then that fifth spot, it seems like it's between Dinklage for Cyrano or Bardem for being the Ricardos.
right.
I haven't seen Cyrano. Hard to say.
No one
Didn't
has. Doesn't come out till February 25th.
didn't love the Bardem performance in being the Ricardos, although maybe he's the best part of the movie. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't
Is
love
he?
the movie. What would you say for that fifth spot?
Yeah. And also, I think Leo from Don't Look Up is
Ah,
in the mix here. This is a tough one. You know, Nicolas Cage, obviously the people's champ for Pig. I can't see it happening, unfortunately, though, just given
that
what's come previously
that'd be awesome though.
and other stuff, like Cooper and Nightmare Alley, Joaquin and Come On, Come On. Like there's a lot of other good performances that just didn't get through. So yeah, I feel like Dinklage is being really hurt by the lack of awareness with Cyrano. Obviously, all the voters will have it available to them, and critics have seen the film already. But it seems like Cyrano had aspirations of being more than just the Dinklage Award movie. So don't know about that one. And Garfield, as you said, I think people were less confident about him getting in when Tick Tick Boom came out, but the movie has had a big rise in recent months in other awards bodies. So I feel like Garfield is a good call, as is Denzel Washington. So that fifth spot, I feel like it'll kind of be a little lame. Like Javier Bardem, amazing actor, but like he's been rising with being the Ricardo, so it feels like he's gonna get this spot. And I don't like feel strongly enough about the Leo performance to be like too angry about it, I guess. But yeah, I would go with Bardem probably sneaking in here.
I think that's probably the good money, but man, if they are gonna like try to get some stars in here, which this category has some stars, Smith,
Yeah.
Washington alone are
Yeah.
more
Also Garfield having a huge year. So
right.
pretty
But
good there.
put Leo in. Just a couple I wish would be nominated, but aren't gonna obviously make it. Cage, you already mentioned Simon Rex for Red Rocket. I feel like
Yes, of
has a case
course.
for this,
The
and
Adam
then
Sandler
also
uncut gems. performance of this year where it should be nominated, but it won't.
Exactly. And then you got Chalamet just kind of sitting there.
Right.
And it's like, man, if
Yes.
Dune really is going to have a night, I would love for Chalamet to just sneak in and
That'd
get
be
that
something.
nomination.
If Dune had acting now, that'd be wild.
Be huge, dude. I mean, I would put money that after the next the second part that Zendaya will probably be nominated. But
That'd be
we'll talk
cool.
about that next year, or when is that coming out? 2 years? I don't know.
2023. Yes.
Yeah, 2 years. Anyways, best actress. I have no feel for this category. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, I kind of know who's at the top here. Um, I don't really feel like I know who's like the favorite because Coleman is the odds-on favorite. Don't love
Hmm.
her. Don't love the movie. We talked about it. The Lost Daughter, well made. Maggie Gyllenhaal, shouts to her. Coleman's great in the role. Didn't love the movie. I think for me that kind of makes this hard to feel like this is the Coleman win. I
Agreed.
don't
And she's also
I don't
won
know.
everything possible the past 3 years. So
Yeah,
if she doesn't
and
win now,
right.
it's all good.
And so then Kidman is in there probably for being the Ricardos.
Definitely.
It's the
Wouldn't be shocked
most.
if she wins either
Yep.
her second Oscar if she does.
And then we're really gonna get Lady Gaga for House of Gucci, I guess.
Seems
Uh,
like it.
Jessica Chastain for Eyes of Tammy Faye, sure.
Perhaps.
Kristen Stewart, Spencer, Princess Di, yeah.
Kristen Stewart was considered the favorite for such a long time, and then like very notably was not SAG nominated, not nominated by her fellow actors. So that kind of like threw people off the scent. Still think Kristen Stewart's in here though, and I still think Gaga's in here, even if the Gucci Awards campaign has crumbled more or less. So that leaves that fifth spot, which has a lot of contenders. You mentioned Chastain. You also have Jennifer Hudson from Respect, Penelope Cruz from Parallel Mothers, Rachel Ziegler, West Side Story, Alana Haim from Licorice Pizza, and even Frances McDormand from Tragedy of Macbeth. I think we can write off McDormand, who, a few months back people probably would have thrown into this category, but she's kind of widely considered the like fourth or fifth best performance in the film. And given her recent success, she probably can quickly be scratched off. Same for Alana Haim, which, I just don't think she's done just had the award season thus far to like really break through here. So I don't know who would you want here. Like I kind of would want Rachel Ziegler to get it, but I don't
Yes.
know if it's going to happen.
Ziegler would be my number one. And then I could see Hudson getting the nomination just for the role alone. And she had a
Andra
lot of.
Day, kind of a similar nomination last year for U.S. versus Billie Holiday, where it's like really good performance, doing your own singing, even if the rest of the movie isn't super good.
I
Jennifer Hudson,
think
of course, has won before as well.
right. And then I think Alana Haim would be the other one I would want in here. I don't know. I didn't see Parallel Mothers, which is the blind
Cruz
spot.
is really good in it, but I'm not sure if it's tough for international performances to break through given the track record thus far. So,
Who do you want?
yeah, I'd say Ziegler.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at Chastain though. Chastain's a great actor and has kind of like I think found herself more recently with Tammy Faye and Scenes from Marriage. So I would like to see that recognition as well. But yeah, I think Ziegler would be kind of cool as like a star making acknowledgement there.
Yeah.
She is having a big future. She'll be in a Shazam. She'll be in Snow White. So she's not going away. We know that.
Absolutely. All right. So now we're on to the last two here.
Yeah.
Best director. All right. So Jane Campion feels like not only a lock to be nominated, but I mean she's gonna win. Like
Yep.
that's
No
pretty
problem there.
much it. Denny is also gonna be nominated for Dune.
Yes. His first time. Very exciting.
Crazy that this is gonna be his first time. How is that possible?
Yep. Arguably had the best directing career of the 2010s. And now he's finally gonna get that nom. Love to see it.
Spielberg feels like a lock.
Yeah. I mean, it's he hasn't been nominated as much as you'd expect of late of the past 10 plus years, but he definitely earned it with West Side Story. His direction is arguably the best thing about the movie. So, yeah, I'd lock that into.
In these final two spots, PTA, Kenneth Branagh
Yeah,
Hamaguchi would
yeah.
be the outsider that I would love to crack the top five, especially in place of someone like Branagh, who really liked Belfast top 10 for me, but I don't know if I would uh,
Mhm.
say it's nomination worthy. Maggie Gyllenhaal also feels like she has an
Mhm.
outside shot at this.
First time.
I don't know anyone else here that you think could crack that top five.
Yeah, I'd say in the mix, Adam McKay, previous
Right.
nominee, Guillermo del Toro, previous winner, Joel Cohen, same thing. They're there, but I think they're out. I think PTA is in. Uh, I think Wes Anderson's probably out too for French Dispatch. I think PTA is in. I think Spielberg's in. The last spot, I think it's really down to Branagh versus Hamaguchi, and I'm gonna go with Hamaguchi solely based off the track record we've seen recently. The past 3 years, you had Paolo Palakowski nominated for Cold War, Bong Joon-ho nominated and winning for Parasite, and Thomas Vinterberg winning or nominated for Another Round. Why wouldn't Ryusuke Hamaguchi be nominated for Drive My Car? It's kind of the same thought. The director's branch is very international. Um, I don't kind of see why you would pick it, especially with Belfast kind of not quite cleaning up in the lead up to Oscars the way people expected. It'll still be there in Best Picture. It'll still be there in other categories we acknowledge, but I would not be shocked to see Branagh himself miss out on this. Yes, it's the autobiographical story, but it's probably the least impressive directorial effort of this whole crop. So I'm gonna go with Hamaguchi.
I hope you're right. I, I think he is probably more deserving. But yeah, I think I would probably say the field is the five that we just talked about plus Gyllenhaal, or the six we just talked about plus Gyllenhaal is a potential outsider as well.
Mhm.
Looking in, and now we're on to Best Picture. All right, let's name the locks, and then we'll talk about
Yeah,
the other ones that could potentially get in here. So, Power of the Dog, it's a lock. Favorite to win. West Side Story, lock. I
yep,
think Belfast is a lock.
yep,
Dune is a lock.
yep.
Is King Richard really a lock? I think that's kind of crazy.
I think it is. I think it
Wow,
is. But probably
amazing.
we probably should tier it further. The four
Right.
you just mentioned, Dog, Belfast, Dune, West Side Story, definitely locks. From there, I think
Yes.
there's another group: King Richard, Coda,
Mhm.
Licorice Pizza.
Don't look
You
up in that category.
don't look up, probably,
Yeah.
right? And that leaves us with what, two more spots? Because this is the first year.
Yep.
It's 10 mandatory, not 8 to 10 for Best Picture, so it has to be 10, which I do like it. I love that they're doing
I
this.
like that too.
So you have to pick two more.
All
Let's just
right.
assume everything we said is in. That's 8 so far.
So then the I think it's between five. I would say there's five that have a shot.
Mhm,
Tick Tick Boom,
mhm,
The Tragedy of Macbeth, Being the Ricardos, and Drive My Car.
mhm. Yeah,
Hmm. Is that only four? I only need four. Sorry, I wouldn't
that's
put
4.
Nightmare Alley in there. I don't think
No,
Lost Daughter has a shot.
Nightmare Alley, no. House of Gucci, no, given, no PGA love. Also, Spider-Man: No Way Home did not get a Producers Guild Award nomination. Movies in the past, like Knives Out, have been nominated for the PGAs, which kind of lean more populist, more blockbuster. So I think that's a bad sign for Spidey trying to get in here. So I would cross that one off. French Dispatch, Cyrano, other stuff like that, cross those off. Um, Lost Daughter, yeah. I think there's an outside chance for the Lost Daughter. I mean, if you think Maggie Gyllenhaal is in the mix for director, then the movie's probably in the mix for picture.
Yeah,
Drive My Car, I'd probably say the ceiling for this at the awards is Hamaguchi at director. I don't think it's going to get into Best Picture, so that kind of leaves Ricardo's Tick Tick Boom, Macbeth, and perhaps Lost Daughter. I think Tick Tick Boom's in. I think it's kind of been in of the
I do
past few
too.
after the past few weeks. So that leaves one more.
I would probably say Lost Daughter. I
Yeah.
I think they're gonna want to give Gyllenhaal a celebration. I think there's been a lot of uh, narrative in the past couple of years and criticism, rightfully so, of the lack of diversity, not only in terms of race but also gender in
Yep.
these categories. And I could see them wanting to get Campion and Gyllenhaal a nomination here. So I would
Mm.
say
Yeah.
I think those two make sense.
Yep. That'd be, yeah, I mean, Ricardo's not getting nominated for Best Picture would be nice. It's going to get some representation already, probably screenplay
Yeah.
and acting, as we said. So, I don't think we need to put it in picture.
I don't know if we need another Macbeth to get a Best Picture nomination either. I'm good.
No, yeah, it's really, I think that exactly that. The Shakespeare adaptation probably can't be in the mix when we already are including a West Side Story remake.
Right.
You only can acknowledge so much iteration, I guess.
For sure. Well, that does it for us. I guess the last prediction I wanted to ask you, Dave. Who do you think will be hosting?
It's a great question. It seems like, per the reports, that multiple hosts are in the mix here. Honestly, I would love them to do the Tom Holland Zendaya thing.
Do it.
That would be awesome.
Do it.
I think they're at least looking into it legitimately, but I think The Rock is a safe choice as well. He should do it one day. He would be good enough
Or
at it
he's
at the very
president.
least. Yep, exactly. Um, yeah, I like that they're going to do a host though, and like bring a
Yeah,
host back. That's a positive to me.
I
So
totally agree.
don't have a feel on, like, I don't think anyone really knows who's really contending for this yet, but we know who we would enjoy seeing.
I think it will end up being Holland and Zendaya, especially because they really need to get viewership up, and the only way you're going to get any young people to tune in is you got to have a young star.